Hi, I'm Taylor Shell, and I'm doing my author discussion on Nat Turner. So, Nat Turner was born a slave on October 2nd, 1800, to his master Benjamin Turner. So, Nat Turner lived on the plantation with his mother and his grandmother. His father was to have been believed to have ran away when Nat was very young. His bond with his grandmother is kind of what started where everyone thinks like the seed of rebellion within himself. And his master, Benjamin Turner, encouraged Nat's literature to where he gave him a Bible and would help like guide him on how to read and like would also give him books that were quote unquote for white people or like white children anyway. So he was um, unlike most slaves, he had the knowledge and literature of, let's say, like an average child. So after Benjamin's death, Nat went to his brother Samuel, who also wasn't like super strict on him, but wasn't as like for his literature to the fact of where he would give him a Bible and a book. Okay, so Nat Turner had always been very religious ever since he was a kid due to given the Bible and living very close to it. He, at one point after Benjamin and Samuel had both died, he was sent to another owner in which he ran away from for about 30 days. And when he ran away, he saw a spirit who had told him, "For he who knoweth his master's will and doth it not shall be beaten with many stripes, and thus have I chastened you." So that just basically like led him to go back to the plantation and like serve his master like the spirits had told him to. And when he went back, all the other slaves thought he was a fool and like that nobody should ever work for like a master or anything like that. But Nat Turner was very loyal to the spirits that he saw. And then his visions continued to the point of where he saw a battle between the black and white people and was said the spirit had told him, "Such is your luck, such you are called to see, and let it come rough or smooth, you must surely bear it." So he took it as if like the battle was coming and that he needed to be prepared and help guide other people as if the spirits are guiding him in order to guide other people. And at one point, his he found blood on corn and took it as like Christ's blood. And when he told this white guy Brantley about it, he was started bleeding through his pores. So to cease the wickedness out of him, for 9 days they had prayed and were fasting. And after those 9 days, he was healed. So because of that, they felt as if they should be baptized as well. But however, the as a slave, you technically weren't allowed to be baptized by the church. So they went into like a local water and had baptized themselves there. But with the prayers and such, it was still considered a baptism to them. And so he was, after the signs of an uprising to him, he had awaited a sign from God of some sort. And that's in February, I think of, yeah, February of 1831. There was an eclipse that he took as a sign in which he started like trying to like plan and gather people, I guess. Yeah, so let's see. So in the actual uprising, they saw another sign around July, or a little after July, but that July 4th was the day that they were supposed to attack. But however, um, Nat Turner got really sick, so he wasn't able to do that. So him and his like buddies just kept on conspiring a plan, but they could never like completely agree on one, I guess. And then afterwards, he saw another sign from like the gods in like the sky. So that's when they decided that on August 21st that they would have their dinner with Henry Harkin Turner to discuss plans on how to go about this uprising. So after their dinner, they had like a feast, and one of them had like bought a pig and everything. So it was like a real good dinner to them. And they decided to attack on October 21st, 1831. So it all started with one of them having an axe and going to their current master's door, in which they got it down and they killed everybody in the house. They had decided that no matter the gender, age, whatever, that you will not be saved. Like if you are white, they were going to kill you basically, which is because of the way they had been treated, and like nobody really deserves or no one should ever be a slave to somebody else. Even though their masters weren't like the worst masters, they still should never have had slaves. So they went from house to house, plantation to plantation, and began killing all of the masters and gathering more slaves until like they were getting like a little army. And then as the night went on, like word began spreading that there was an uprising, and that's when they had their first confrontation. I think it was with 18 white people who had guns and were like attacking them, and like obviously had become a full blown battle at that point. But as some were fighting, others were still going house to house and killing everybody. It is said that between 55 and 60 white people were killed that night, which I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but when you think about like how spread out like those areas is a lot. But in comparison, around 200 black people were killed that day, even if they were like not a part of the uprising. If they just had suspected that they might revolt or some sort, they were just killed on spot, and that was 200 people. Like that's a lot. So this was all like led by Nat Turner and the spirits that were guiding him. And so after everything was like said and done, Nat Turner went into hiding for about 6 weeks. And yeah, he went hiding to 6 weeks. He would have been fine, but a dog had found him, like found his meat one night, and then the next night the dog had come back, and that's when he was spotted and taken to prison and everything. But he does not see anything wrong with what he was doing because he was simply being led by the spirits. So the theme that I got from the reading that we were assigned, I basically summarized it in the last three because it basically talked about his life and like the uprising and how it all went down. And the main thing that I got was without literature skills, Nat Turner would have never been exposed to the Bible, which had caused him to become so religious and informed on what was going on and how it was like wrong and everything. So basically, like without literature, this would have never started, and without Nat Turner's like starting the rebellion, other famous activists would have never gone into like rebelling against like their slaves and what they thought was right. So literature is key, and that's what I've gotten from this. So let's see. Yeah, basically it's all about literature, and Nat Turner went on to write his like life down and everything. I unfortunately was not able to watch the movie, but what I had gotten from the main reading, and then I also went to another source where it was Who is Nat Turner, Everything You Need to Know, which is where I got like the numbers of the amount of people killed and a little more details on his life compared to like the interview that we had been assigned to read. But yeah, so without Nat Turner, he would have never like inspired people to like stand up for what was right, and he would have never like been able to talk to spirits without the knowledge of the Bible. And if without the spirits, he would have ran away and never have come back, and would have just like left everybody else to like keep on living the way they were. Sorry. Um, yeah, Nat Turner is an extremely inspiration to anybody who feels as if they're standing up for something they believe in, whether it's moral, religious, like political, anything like that. He was the start of the revolution and he played a very important role in abolishing slavery, in my opinion. So Nat Turner is a very important person in history. Thank you.